on, right around back. Wow. Watch out, they're everywhere.
I think if we don't do something, the only fish that are going to be in here is going to be these Asians. I think the bow fishermen are just going to shoot them. I think the bass fishermen it'll be done. I think the catfish, everything.
You know, these carp don't respect state boundaries. They don't respect reservoir boundaries. We have a window of opportunity to act and act very aggressively. And if we don't do that, then we could lose the whole thing.
They were used down south in Arkansas. They were brought in originally and to clean up the water in culture ponds such as catfish and water treatment plants, and through flooding and escapement through other routes, they ended up in the rivers, the big rivers down that way, and have worked their way all the way up to Kentucky, all the way up through Illinois, Great Lakes, and the northern states are panicked. Everybody's worried about these fish. They're moving quickly.
Kentucky and Tennessee have a problem. It's Asian carp, especially silver carp. They've invaded our waters, and everything they touch, they destroy.
About 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my neighbor overlooking outside, overlooking the lake. Big black bird flew just over the surface a couple feet. The entire cove erupted with silvers, from 10 feet from the far bank to about 40 feet from my bank. The entire cove erupted. There had to be 10,000 of them out there.
When we think about how many fish are out there in the water on the depth finder, I assume everything I see out there is a bass or a crappie. To know that hundreds of pounds of Asian carp are in a small little bay on Kentucky Lake, on Barkley Lake, I find it amazing.
But in 2015, all of a sudden, system-wide, Cumberland and Tennessee, we were seeing lots of small carp that were growing quickly. They grew really quickly, but they were everywhere. And the silver carp that are in these systems today are predominantly that 2015 year class.
I'm originally from Nashville, and I fished these lakes as a kid. We didn't have this problem 25, 30, 40 years ago. We got to have somebody that's going to sit nets that's going to catch 8, 10, 12, 15,000 pounds a day.
These things are becoming detrimental. And when I say detrimental, I'm saying detrimental with a capital D. And it's getting worse.
This video you just watched about invasive carps was shot 7 years ago. And what we thought was a problem then has turned into a near tragedy today.
The carrying capacity of a lake is the ability to hold X amount of fish. The problem that we have is the Asian carp is such a prolific breeder that it outgrows and outcompetes our native game fish, that they're getting to be into higher percentages of the population in Kentucky Barkley Lake, the entire Tennessee River, and anything that touches the Mississippi River.
They filter the same water that our fish are laying eggs in, the same water that our bait supply. They filter through all that, taking the zooplankton, plankton, and dalphia, and all other microscopic organisms out of the water. When they do that, it leaves no food for our bait fish. When you don't have bait fish, you don't have sport fish. That's where we are today.
Is that the bow fishermen are on the front lines on this war on carp. I mean, period. They have been battling and going to war for, I mean, almost 10 years, if not more.
And for years we've stood on the message that we're going out and we're helping to conserve our waterways by shooting all these invasive fish species. And honestly, the silvers are making it harder on us because now we can't target the big heads because there's so many silvers.
So it's pushed all of our fish out too. It's not just affected the bow fishermen, it's affected the bow fishermen too.
You used to actually see your other fish. You used to see your grass carp. You used to go after some buffalo. Turn on the lights, all you're seeing is Asian carp. They're completely taking over.
You got Smith Bay, Duncan Bay, Pisgah, all that around here. It's probably some of the most popular pleasure boating bays on the lakes. And literally there is thousands of Asian silver carp in front of us right now.
I don't think I've ever seen them this bad.
It's just they get worse. It's like every day they get worse. It's not even years now, it's just days.
With this local economy here, I mean, it's a bass fishing economy, and it's one of the premier bow fishing destinations, don't get me wrong. But when it comes dollar for dollar, if them bass boats and those pleasure boats come off that place, there ain't enough of us in these aluminum boats to support this place.
Tourism goes a lot further than just on the lakes. Everybody in this area counts on this recreational area, whether you're selling gas or have motels, if you have restaurants. There's a lot of different aspects to this economy out here. And it's all going to be threatened, or is being threatened, by this Asian carp issue.
In Kentucky Lake, Pickwick, and Gunnersville, the economic impact that it's going to have from the lack of tourism, the lack of fishing, it's going to be catastrophic.
It's going to take public awareness. It's going to take all of us as sportsmen and commercial fishermen, because it's going to take us both. Right now, the commercial fisherman is the only avenue of attack that the sport fisherman has to get any of these fish out of there in numbers that will make a difference.
I just had mine built, and they're 200-foot nets, and I've got probably about $4,000 tied up in them 20 nets. The ice is a big problem right now because there's not enough ice. I mean, if you go out there and catch 3,000 or 4,000 pounds, it probably takes 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of ice to keep them fish from spolting.
What kind of price per pound are you getting right now?
17 cents.
17 cents. What do you think you need to be at in order to make a profit?
It needs to be up there around a quarter or 30 cents. And like right now, we're catching 2,000 pounds, it's like a couple $100 a day is all we're making. But by the time you take your fuel out and your wear and tear on your vehicle, your gas for your boat and all that, you really ain't making $200 a day. You're only making about 100.
More subsidy, ice available, a way to sell it at the bank. How important are those three things?
With the subsidy, you might be able to hire somebody to help you. The ice, if you ain't got the ice, the fish are going to spoil before you get them to the market, especially on these days it's 100, 110 degrees. Everything right now is away from us. Ain't nothing close to where we're at. If they was right here close, you could fish probably more nets because you wouldn't have to go as far with them.
Kentucky and Tennessee Fish and Wildlife agencies, anglers, and some of our politicians are joining together to declare war on invasive carps. And what I'm doing is asking you to answer the call too. It's a fight for the future of our recreational waters, and I sure would like to have everyone on board.
So the great thing about visiting carpharvestfund.com is you can donate right now, and that money will be put to use right now. So there's not a delay. Even though we're working with Congress to get the money to our states and make a difference, right now we're working with commercial fishermen and biologists in both Kentucky and Tennessee to make a difference.
Our heroes in all this are going to be these commercial fishermen, and we've got to make sure that we take care of them. And that's the good thing about the foundation. When you donate to it, we're going to be giving money towards the price per pound to help them on that. We're going to be giving them the opportunity to go to the bank and sell these fish. We're going to be giving them ice. We're going to be showing them new ways to use the nets, new nets to use. All those things are going to happen immediately to get this thing started on bringing them out of our lakes.
The person at the foundation that's running the program is going to contact the Fish and Wildlife Services of both states. We're going to reach out also to the commercial fishing industry to find out exactly what they need now to get more fish out of the water. We're going to contact the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and USGS to find out how this barrier system's going. If it's ready to go, we have already identified 5 locks and dams as priorities where that new barrier system can be put. We're also going to help them market these things so that we can get a bigger production level.
Yeah, the good thing is we already have all the groundwork done for monitoring. We don't have to spend any money on that as a priority. Our priority is going to be getting money to the commercial industry and to incentivize that to get more fish out of the river.
There's a couple of ways that you can get involved here. One, you can contact your legislators. You can do that easily if you want to go to waroncarp.com, and you'll see a place on there where you can send them an email and let them know that you support this effort. Two, you can donate to the foundation. The foundation is set up in order to go to work immediately. When your donation goes there, we start immediately pulling these fish out of these lakes.
I love the Tennessee River. I don't ever want to see it damaged. Please get involved. Write letters, talk to your congressman, email, smoke signal, whatever you got to do to get involved on waroncarp.com. Let's as fishermen help solve this problem and provide a much, much safer future for our children as far as fishing and being out and enjoying the beautiful Tennessee River.
Are you a serious bass head like me? Well, listen, Asian carp are threatening bass fishing opportunities, especially in the Tennessee River.
It's way past time for this. We have to declare war on these Asian carp because they're damaging our fisheries, and every single day is a missed opportunity.
The threat to bass fishing from the Asian carp is growing every day.
It's time we attack the Asian carp.
Hey guys and gals, I've grew up on the Tennessee River my whole life, and I've seen firsthand what these Asian carp are doing. It's a massive invasion. It's going to be detrimental to our fishery. We need your help.
Our plan to remove Asian carp needs your support.
Call, write, email your congressman. Demand that they support legislation to remove the Asian carp from our waters.
Tell Washington it's time to take action to control this invasive species. It's time that we solve this problem. We can't wait any longer. It's war on the carp.
We've got to do something. Our support can and will make a major difference before it's too late.
Folks, I only ask you to do one thing for me today. Go to www.waroncarp.com, check out those phone numbers for your local representatives, and make that call. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the water without Asian carp.